Living in the same society, you have internalized various conflicts all over the world, many of which have nothing to do with us, here, now, in our streets. I remember walking up and down the Oxford Road, which is the University District in Manchester, about 25 years ago, and various Iranian groups were screaming at each other. Technically, there were a group called the Mujahideen, and those that supported the revolution that had just taken place. And the Greater Manchester Police, the GMP, were pushing them apart, arresting the odd one, taking them to the vans and so on. And it ran through my mind, why are they here? What has this got to do with Lancashire? What has this got to do with our people here and now? And tens of thousands and millions of these people have come here seeking work, seeking employment, seeking opportunity, because a third of humanity lives in misery. A third of humanity lives between misery and a good lunch. A third of humanity is all right. And in much of the third world, many are dying. But some of the more active and aggressive and purposeful ones are coming here because they see that the party is here and they want in. And the liberal, capitalist and globalist economy is sucking them in here to do cheap jobs, to run a 24-hour economy based upon £1 trillion worth of debt. And they are coming here, first generation, second generation, third generation, and they're beginning to look at us and look at our softness, look at the decadence of this society, look at the collapse of its spirituality and religiosity, look at its miseducation and undereducation. How many of our youth even know who they are, even know any of our history, much of our literature, much of our art, much of our sculpture, much of what we have achieved. I was in Trafalgar Square recently, which is the hub of an enormous city that once ruled between a quarter and a fifth of the earth. And I looked around. There's Nelson's Column, which was designed by somebody called Bailey, at least the sculpture at the top, and Railton designed the column. And there are lions on either side, equidistant with that column. And they were designed by a 19th century artist called Landseer. And there's the National Gallery there. And if I'm stood on the northern part of the square, and there's the South African Embassy there. South Africa used to be a civilised, white-run society. The murder rate in South Africa is now 30,000 a year, black on black. It is the rape capital of the world. A third of all mothers who are pregnant have AIDS. This is what has happened. And over their embassy flies a flag that looks suspiciously like a white one. And that's the new South African flag, the flag of Azania. Because that particular outcropping of our empire has gone, my friends, and it will not come back. It's gone forever. And as a warning to others, on the other side of the square, and this is in the centre of our ruling city, near our governmental districts, there's the Canadian Embassy. Now, there are two statues at either end of that square, and they're of imperial heroes. Tens of thousands of people of every race and of every kind and of every culture and of every spirituality pass these sculptures every day. Millions of our people have been through this square at one time or another. Hardly anyone probably knows who they represent. They represent two leaders. Sir Charles Napier was one of them, who destroyed the Indian Mutiny in the middle of the 19th century, when our empire rocked in India. And they punished those who mutineered against us by strapping their bodies to cannons and blowing them up before galleries and white people who were put there for that purpose to watch. We were not as soft then as we are now. Palmerston, who was then the leader of the Liberal Party, said that Britain was an empire that had been given by God's hand to rule the earth, and that if foreigners annoyed us, we would beat them about the head with a stick. This man was the leader of the Liberal Party in the 19th century.
when you get it forever. You and I, we begin forever now. Forever now. Forever. I still believe in us together. You and I, we're here together now. Together now. Forever now. Forever now. Forever now. Forever. Forever.